We haven't done a pre-market stream, and we didn't do one yesterday. I did put a video out yesterday, but it was kind of blurry. So I'm going to record on a different system for that, probably moving forward, at least for my streams. Just bring the quality of the... I know the stream is what it is, what you guys can see, but when I record stuff and put it on YouTube, I'm trying to a little bit extra pickier on that. You got to be picky about that. I got a lot of comments. Your screen's blurry. Well, I don't like to hear that. So, anyways, good morning, everybody. This is Bullish Bears Dan. You can see my name at the top right-hand corner of your screen, and sometimes there'll be an additional streamer. Or if you guys can't see me up there, you might have to refresh your screen. If you ever, stop hearing me and it looks like I'm still here, there's probably just an audio issue on your end. A quick refresh will fix that. And what are we looking at? We're looking at VLRX. So VLRX, what's the deal with this one? This one had an interesting morning thus far. It's got let's see, potential. There's a CBD application, so pot stock. I don't remember this one running in the past, but if we go and look, maybe a long time ago. Oh, that's right, it popped up the other day here and resumed back into its downtrend, and it looks like it touched the 50% retracement level. That's this bright blue line. Let me get rid of time and sales. We don't really care about that at the moment. And so yeah, we came up to that 375 level, 50% retracement level, pulled back, got this long doji away from it. Kind of looks, well, the 4 hour looks like an inverted hammer. What do we got on the hourly? Very high wave candle, and we're below the 90 MA on the hourly. It looks like that's just below $3. $3 definitely looks like an interesting level to potentially breakout. That's that whole dollar level. So I'm going to look at the $3 level very closely today. It looks like we got this a bit of a consolidation, triangle range forming, potential for a cup and handle, an angular breakout potentially today. We'll have to look. I mean, right now this thing's definitely going to move up out of this way. Well, I mean, it could falling wedge. We don't know what the sell-off, how far this thing's going to sell off. It might falling wedge like that. But that $3 level is important. And I was looking at it on big surprise, right? You guys knew I was going to drag in Trend Spider. Here is the 50 SMA daily. So this level was a bit of a problem this morning for the bulls, right? You can see what happened here. We got above it, didn't bounce off that support. Well, now we're back below it. This 5-minute candles versus the daily moving average. So we're looking at $3, but really this 50 SMA is going to be a thorn in its side today. So we're really getting closes above there. But you can see there's a decent high a day range. So we could, the volume comes in right now, it's trading many times over its relative volume just in the pre-market. It's actually the leader on the Trade Ideas gap scan this morning. So for those of you guys that don't know, I update the Trade Ideas gap scan pretty much every morning by 8 o'clock, 8:30. Sometimes I'll update it a couple times throughout the morning and get that looking nice. Morning Insen, morning Longhorn. So that's VLRX. Let's just see what happens with it. I mean, this $3 VWAP, maybe get another push towards this 50% retracement today. Let's take a look at YELP. So this is from our trade alert setup list. YELP closed at high a days. It's kind of got this typical consolidation pattern the last 5 days. What you end up getting a lot of times is this this kind of ascending pattern. So you'll get like a flat top with a bunch of cup and handles inside. This is typically a bullish pattern. When it breaks down, it's very bearish though. So It can go either way. I mean, it gets confirmed. At some point, it's going to get confirmed and break. You can see these hourly candles have had a really hard time with our trade alert setup level. So that's at 38.40. I'm sorry, 35.43. If we get, this has earnings coming up in, let's see, that's on 8/8. So we're going into earnings week for this. It's important to see if this thing's going to continue to melt up or just range trade. We really, really, really want to see, let's see, this thing, you can just look at this angular. Yeah, it's trying to creep out of this. You see these trend lines, right? Trying to trap it. You've got this angular resistance. So this would be really good to get an ascending breakout. These cup and handle breaks out. We got some bullish divergence on the lower hourly indicators. So Yelp has a good shot. The only thing that might hinder Yelp's progress today is the SPY, it's the futures, it's the market. Is the market going to sell off going into the Fed meeting? And we also got a lot of economic data. We had a lot out today. You guys can check investing.com. It's just a habit of mine to check this in the morning and take a look at the economic data. In 44 minutes, we got consumer confidence, home sales. That's typically a big one. And then we've got all crude. That's actually in the after hours. But yeah, so we get some catalysts today. Keep our eyes on forecasts and numbers and data and things like that. That is VLRX. Let's pull up OSTK. So OSTK, this thing has been pretty wild. So this is this was on our watch list. Good runner from our watch list, I might add. And this has been rolling away from its 9 EMA daily, 5-minute versus daily chart. And you could see it gapping up in the pre-market. Trend Spider identified this trend line very close to the peak of it. 24 looks like a big area of resistance. This thing's had a lot of just air above it, right? If we go and look at OSTK on a short-term chart, here's roughly where that trend line is, right? So we're kind of hitting that angular resistance. Very common megaphone type pattern when the momentum comes back in to a stock and you get the 5-day, 5-minute chart with its momentum moving averages underneath it. They like to form megaphones and bull flags and other types of bullish patterns. If we go back and look at, okay, so earnings is coming up again next week. That is a big deal for that. Let's go back and look at the two-year chart. I mean, where the heck is resistance for this thing? Let me clear this chart real quick. It's kind of messy. So what we can do, I recommend you do this if you're super bullish and swing trading a stock and you want these mechanical targets. Just go in and do your major retracement. Right, so 89.80 to 896, and look, we are in a new zone. Let's look at this daily chart and see. I got a lot of daily resistance up in this 23 level. Of course, we're above it right now. 23, that's your next fib. 29. But big deal, 200 SMA, the 9 crossed over the 200 SMA on the daily. You had this really nice consolidation kind of pennant breakout on the daily, right? This is kind of more of an ascending, but this is very, very nice. So let's look. That 23 level, very important. So I guess a close above 23, extremely bullish for this stock, OSTK. I like it. This is definitely something you guys should watch. I know there's a lot of eyes on this one. I've seen a lot of social media talking about this particular stock, so should be a good one. Let's take a look at AMD. AMD reports, I believe, after the bell, right? Yeah, after market close. And same thing with the conference call. So conference call at 4:30 this afternoon. This thing kind of fell into this giant bear flag broke out of it, and now we kind of have this angular resistance up here. Just short term, there's a potential. You already have a wick almost hitting that level there for us to basically trade in this range today. I think this is very likely. Definitely under some bearish momentum with the 200 SMA 5-minute kind of acting as resistance. You can see how it acted as support, kind of flattened out, and then the, just yesterday's open was just nasty. That was something I talked about in the trade room. Watch for this level to break, and break it did until it found this little support. So now we'll see. Maybe this thing pulls back to this level. AMD could be a really good short today going into earnings, especially with markets acting kind of nasty, not being too happy with some of the forecasts and economic data and things like that coming out. So let's look at SPY real quick. Let's see, we got about 10 minutes to the bell. Alright, so SPY, very similar, right? We had kind of this consolidation triangle. It was looking kind of bullish. You had these cup and handles kind of forming, similar to like what YELP looked like. And then we had this breakdown this morning. Well, futures broke down, so SPY's following. And if we take a look at, so we got to do this because we're spoiled. We got Trend Spider. We can take a look at the 9 EMA daily. This has been a big support level for SPY. The further we go back, the more you'll see these, how the 9 EMA acts as support. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4. We're on the fourth kind of big test since we've been trending above it after our little trend below it. And this could be a dip buy scenario on SPY. So I would not be shocked to see us consolidate on this 300 level and then run up $1 or $1.50 or even $2, just like that. You'll see a lot of short covering, and this thing could get squeezed. All you need is some good data, some good news, and it happens like that. That is the markets in a nutshell. So this one is definitely on the list as well for possibly day trade some options. We'll see what we can uncover and dig for an opportunity there. So yes, indeed. What are you guys looking at? You guys, so the guys in the chat room, you guys are looking at Twilio, UA, Capital One. Yeah, I heard about the data breach. I am a Capital One customer. Hopefully I didn't get hacked. Look at Capital One pulling back to, let's see, this is the 50. So the daily 50. So 15-minute chart versus the daily moving average. You got a major angular daily trend line out here, also just overlaid with that 50. So breaking below this, you could see pulling back to potentially 88.45. This is quite a bit of a rolling waterfall down here. So yeah, maybe we keep this on the eye and see what the spread's like on options. Let's take a look at Twilio. I see Thien talking about Twilio. So again, man, a lot of stocks. I shouldn't say a lot. I'll have to go through and look at some other studies, but it's been a while since I've seen these 50-day being tested, right? We've been in a pretty nice uptrend, but then you see these stocks starting to test their 50-day moving average and break below. That's typically not a good sign for markets getting the steam to roll over. Let's see, Kyle, you said OR. Ooh, look at this nice ascending. Yeah, you got a nice ascending on OR, trending above its daily moving average. We actually have HMY on our watch list today. And you can see, yeah, there's potential for this thing to kind of triple top up here, but it could also potentially break out. And if we look at the daily chart, we had this nice consolidation, kind of a, I call these baby bull pennants. You get like maybe 2 candles up. They're usually pretty, strong candles, but they're short, right? It's not like a big, like this one was 1, 2, 3, 4, and you kind of had more of a flag pattern. This one's a little bit more, let's see, well, let me draw. Yeah, I look for these. Whoops, that's not the drawing I wanted. I wanted a segment. try to find these on any, doesn't matter the time frame chart, but right at the 90 MA, right at the apex, and then boom, you get that daily breakout. Those are pretty sweet, and you can see this thing has been in a nice uptrend, and we may potentially leave this consolidation or this upper wick behind at, let's see, we got our alert set at 260, which it's currently above in the pre-market, so today could be a good day. Take a position on this stock, at least ride the momentum going into the Fed meeting. There'll be a lot of talks about inflation and targets, and they'll either be dovish or hawkish on the interest rate. Let's see, ENPH. Yeah, we're in earnings season. CODX. CODX was on the gap scan this morning. Again, another. Well, this one actually 50 SMA weekly pullback there. But let's take a look at the 5-minute versus the daily. This thing was pretty ugly pullback. The volume was nice. Let's take a look on Thinkorswim. Yeah, so we hit that 169 level. And if we go further back, let's see, there's our 223. Let's see, VWAP's up here. We got our fib at 146, 150. I mean, potentially, this is one you just, again, you wait for the bell and for the volume to come in. This might pull back to its angular support short term. Next thing you know, puts in a 5-minute hammer at the 200 SMA, get some good volume. Might be a quick little scalper for, maybe it's only 5-10 cents, but let's watch the volume on this one as well. Let's see, what do I want to replace that with? I'll just throw it. I like SGLB too. SGLB. Yeah, this one's crossing VWAP right here too. The volume's not crazy or anything, but there's good potential. Alright guys, it's a couple minutes to the bell. So yeah, that's what I'm watching right now. I got a combination of our watch list and some bigger stocks. Snap, AMD, SPY, OSTK, HMY, SGLB, ASRT from our watch list, and YELP. So I'm going to shut down the YouTube stream and wet my whistle and get ready for the bell. So YouTubers, you want to join us in the trade room, we'll be there chatting all morning. And thanks for watching, and we will see you guys later.